All right, let's get rolling. We're gonna do project 10-2 Windows containers. Seen quite a few messages go through in Teams about this one. I'm not, so I'm a little, I'm a little worried we're gonna run into problems, but we'll see how it goes. So we're just gonna get started again. This is an unscripted walkthrough. I haven't practiced this at all. I haven't done it at all. So you'll see, obviously there'll be errors and things along the way, and we'll try to troubleshoot those as we go. All right, so let's get rolling. So the first thing they want you to do is go out to Hub Docker. So you click on the link here. I have already created that for myself, right? So I've got my user account here. So when we need it later on, we will grab that. All right. That was weird. Okay, that's what I wanted. All right, and then we're gonna right click on. So they want us to be on. They're saying host, but I'm thinking, right? I want to think that let me see. If we go through this, we're going to install, we're going to go PowerShell as an admin, and we're going to go install these things. And then we're going to restart the computer, and then we're going to start the Docker service and pull. See, I'm IIS, so I'm wondering, I'm thinking I'm going to install this one. Not on my domain controller. I'm going to install it again on that SA1-2. Okay, so I'm going to stick with that SA1-2 that we've ended off with last chapter. Go ahead and close this piece here, and we're going to go back over here. So then we're going to right mouse click, we're going to do PowerShell admin, and we're going to run a bunch of commands. So then let's do this. I'm going to separate this piece out, and I'm going to go back here, and we're going to make that half the screen and make this the other half of the screen. All right. So then right mouse click, I'm going to do PowerShell admin. Okay, so I'm in PowerShell admin, and down here they want us to install dash module dash name Docker MSFT provider. All right, and space repository. PS gallery, and we're going to do that with a force. See if I type this in. I did type it in correctly and improperly. Check the spelling. So install module. Okay, so I think there's this dash name. So I think dash name needs to be separate. So install module dash name. So right here, that's really hard to tell, right? There's a space right there. So let's go with that and see if we get a positive outcome here. It's looking a lot better than it was a minute ago. All right, so then we're going to give it a, so man, really, the way I got this, right, so that's better, right? So you can see this a little bit better. So we're just going to do a Y. All right. So we're installing all these pieces, and then we return back to command prompt. Good. All right, and then the next piece is, so we've done this piece here, then we at the prompt install module dash name Docker provider. So that's the next piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to up arrow, and we're just going to go to there, right? And then provider, I think, is the name, right? So Docker provider. So install module name Docker provider. All right, I think we're good. I'm going to hit enter. It should ask me for a yes. Right. So it just says enter Y. It doesn't say yes to all, it just says enter Y. So we're going to do Y. All right, and then The next piece is going to be install package and then name and docker dash provider name and docker provider dash required version. Okay, so let's just, we're going to type all that stuff in. So let's do that. So actually we can go up one, and it's not module anymore, right? So we're doing a package name now. So package, and the name is docker provider name. That sounds weird, but whatever, right? So let's try that. So docker provider name, and then docker provider. Okay, and space dash required version. And I'm assuming space preview. So this is what I think the command is supposed to look like. Install package, dash name, docker provider name, docker provider. See, that seems weird. These two pieces seems weird. And then required version preview. That seems weird too. So, but that's what it shows here, right? Oh wait, there's a dash. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't hit enter. So it's docker install package. The package is docker provider, and then I need to do a space dash name. Whoops. Space dash name, and then docker, and then I spelled provider wrong. So I think it's docker here. Install package docker. Install package docker. Right? Then space dash provider name, and then docker provider. Right? I should spell that properly, right? There's an I missing. Right there. And then space dash required version preview. I think that's, man, let's see what happens. Enter. Oh, all right. So cannot bind the parameter because the parameter name is specified more than once. Oh, I missed that. So what do I want to do here? Docker dash, oh, provider name. Okay, so that's what's going on. All right. So right here, provider name. All right. Name is docker, provider name is docker provider, required version is preview. We're hoping for, okay, so we get a Y, so yes, enter. And we're waiting for this install to go. All right, so I'm still waiting for it to finish. Okay, so we have a problem here. So a restart is required to enable one or more features. Please start your machine. A prerequisite check for Hyper-V feature failed. So we need to have Hyper-V. Hyper-V cannot be installed. The process does not have required virtualization. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to pause my recording and see if I can get virtualization turned on. And then if I can, then we'll be in good shape. But then I need to install, we can come back and do this again because it's going to install Hyper-V. So hold on, or you're not going to hold on. I'm just going to pause. All right, so I did go into VMware and added virtualization. I think I've added the component I need. I'm going to try it again and see what happens. So I've rebooted my machine because you have to shut the machine off. If this works, I'll walk you through how to do this. Hopefully you have the ability. If not, then you'll need to send me a list, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm back to the instruction here, right here that we ran into the problem. where we needed to install this, but then Hyper-V wasn't able to be installed. Okay, so I think I've fixed the problem. We're going to try it. So I'm going to hit enter, see what happens. Please, please, please. It's always the, oh, it did work. All right, so that looks good. Okay, so at this point we've done this command. We did this other command here where we in the package, oh, that's where I made the mistake. And then here's the module Docker provider, and there's the module Docker and Microsoft provider with the gallery. So I've done those 3 pieces. All right, so that's in good shape. So let's get back to doing this. All right, so here we go. Okay, what happened there? I jumped. Oh wait, I've got one that's disconnected and one that's not disconnected. And now it's not letting me send my, this is the one I want. Nope. Okay. I want this piece. We'll get this eventually. All right, so we've done this step here, we've done this step here, and we've done this step here. And I think everybody, because the virtualization wasn't flipped on, that command wouldn't work, which would mean nothing else would probably work going forward properly. So I'm going to go ahead and do the restart computer here, restart. I should actually be on the right place before I get that. So let's do that again. So I'm on number 6. So I'm on restart dash computer dash force. And I'm wondering, is it a dash force or is it a space dash force? Let's try dash force. I don't know that that's right. Let's hit enter. It would give me an error. Man, I really hate the way they type these things into that. So let's go with that. Restart. Okay, so there's a space here, right? Now, while that's restarting, let's take a look at, I want to grab, or maybe I don't. I am missing I'm trying to find where I have my I've got to go back to the, man, I'm drawing a blank, to my VMware. Right, so back to the Nutanix system. So this machine is rebooting. While it's rebooting, what we're trying to find now is where I dropped, I think I may have undone it. I didn't. Here's my vSphere client. So here's vSphere. Okay, so let me show you how to do this, and you may or may not have permissions to do this. So if you don't have permissions to do this, then you will need to email me which server you're installing your containers on, and then I'll go do the setup for you. But you should highlight the whatever machine. I'm going to do my DC1-2, and I'm going to go to Actions, and I'm going to power off, right? So I need this to be turned off completely in order for this to work, okay? So if it's not off completely, then you won't be able to reset the settings. So while this is shutting down, right, so it should be turned off at this point. So then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Edit Settings, right? So in my VM hardware, Edit Settings. And on the Edit Settings, I'm going to click on my CPU. And what you're looking for is this hardware virtualization, expose hardware assisted virtualization to the guest OS. Okay, and I'm hoping that it's available to you. If it's, then all you have to do is click it, right? If you click it, what that's going to allow you to do is just like if you said on a regular PC, you went into BIOS and you turned on virtualization in the BIOS. That's exactly what we just did, and all we're doing is handing this off to the guest CPU. So then I could click OK. Okay, and then I'm going to fire back this one back up, and just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and install Hyper-V. on this particular server so that we can see what that looks like. And we're still, at this point, we're waiting for, well, SA1 is already rebooted, right? So SA1's rebooted here. So I'm going to let this one go. We've got that one going, and I've got SA1 going now, and I've got my instructions here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and continue the instructions while we're waiting for that to reboot and get it going. So after I've rebooted, I'm going to log back in. So let me get logged back in real quick. All right. And we need to go into PowerShell again. So I'm just going to go right mouse click on the start menu. I'm going to go to PowerShell admin. And I am going to type in the command. Start -service space Docker. All right, excellent. So that didn't give me any errors, so that's what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to type in Docker login. All right, and then the username. This is going to be my username for Docker Hub, right? So Docker Hub, my username. I'm going to use my username, so not my email. And then because it's a password, I'm going to go to the separate screen and I'm going to type my password in so that we don't have any accidents. So I typed in something wrong, so I got I got my logins wrong. So I'm going to do that command again. I'm on the other screen currently. Username, password, login succeeded. Sweet. All right. So I'm logged in here. Good. So I've done Docker login. Okay, at the username prompt, type your I've done that. So I've already set that up. And then we're going to do Docker search and IIS. All right, so it gave me a bunch of stuff. So all these different images that are available to us for Docker. And then what they want us to do is we're going to do a Docker. Where's my command line? Docker, you see on the bottom down here, Docker. Why does it keep slipping off the screen? That is super annoying. Let me make this max size and see if it'll stop doing that. All right, so Docker. It's hard to tell if I typed that wrong or correct. Docker space pull. So we're going to pull the Microsoft IIS container. Microsoft /IIS. So I've logged into Docker. I'm actually pulling the IIS container from Docker. Right, so as it goes, just let it kind of cruise through there. While that's cruising along, let's go over here back in that little experiment I wanted to try here. So I think if I should actually click on the whoops, starting to get my passwords confused. Whoa. try that again. Which password am I using in which machine? All right, so I'm going to log, while that's logging in, we're going to jump back over here to see if we got complete. So this is pulling this container still, right? So we've got quite a bit to go. You can see if I'm about halfway done. Right, over here I should be logged in. And as soon as Server Manager fires up, we'll go and hit that up real quick. So I'll let that, I'm going to pause real fast while those things are going, and I'll be right back. All right, so Server Manager is back up and running. We're still getting there with is extracting the file now, so we're in good shape there. So let's go over here to Manage and add roles and features, and it's a role, and select the server. We're going to put it on this server, and we're going to add Hyper-V to this server. Again, this is not part of any lab. Because I just did that. Okay, it doesn't like it because I think we are the process. So it is giving me that validation issue still. I wonder why. All right, so that's a little bit of annoyance. So I'm not sure why that's going on. That didn't like that at all. I was hoping that would fix the problem, and it should have fixed the problem. So add those features. It gives us this error. And now though they're saying so there's some flags or something else that we need to set. There's some other things I need to set to make that work. So we're going to set that aside. That's not part of this assignment. So, but I want to keep it there so that we can figure it out. What I did see is because I got it virtualization turned on in the server, I was able to get Docker installed properly, which is exactly what we wanted to happen. So then I'm curious now why that didn't, I'm just thinking as I'm working through these problems, right? Why did it, I did turn on Hyper-V, right? And then it wants me to do Power CLI stuff, which I'm not familiar with that at this point. That's weird. So we're still kind of watching this piece here as we go. I'm going to have to go and continue to figure out the setup to allow that Hyper-V to be installed. I'm wondering if Power CLI is that a VMware, like an app in VMware, or is Power CLI something else? I believe it's part of VMware, but I'm not sure yet at this point. So we're almost done here, I'm hoping. I'm extracting these files. Now that I say that, then it slows down really. That's awesome. So let's look on, we're going to actually do, so we're going to pull this one, then we're going to pull HTTPD, which looks like, I think that's a Linux thing, right? No, there's no matching HTTP images available for Windows. Okay, so so we're going to pull it and see what happens. Then we're going to do Docker images, press enter, note that's going to show us what images we have on our machine. And it looks like we're going to tag it. And yeah, so we're going to do a little bit here to get stuff running, and then we're going to actually run that container. So we'll see how that works. See if we can get it up and running. Yeah, so we'll just work through this piece by piece. Hopefully, yeah, we're actually going to fire up a new web server in a container. See what happens. Now I'm doing this on the one that has IIS already built in, so I'm hoping that we don't have any kind of carryover problems or anything like that as well. So again, me thinking through these things, I want to kind of articulate out loud just what I'm thinking as we go. So this should work like if you had done this on any other machine, right? So but you have to do all that install, and the install has to work. We got to have Hyper-V on this machine, and in order to have Hyper-V on the machine, I've got to turn on those virtualization capabilities. So instead of continuing to talk and wait for this thing to finish, I'm going to pause, and when it's finished, I will come back. We're just waiting for this install to finish. That's all. All right. So, all right. So that finally finished up. See here that it pulled complete. Right. Download a newer image, and then it returned me to a prompt. Okay. So I'm going to set this off again, and we're going to then pull the HTTPD. Okay. So Docker pull HTTPD. Okay, and then it says the latest pull machine manifest. So it's basically saying that there isn't, if we make this bigger, right, no matching manifest. So it's saying that you can't do this one on a Windows AMD 64 machine. So which is what it told us over here, right? You'll note that you're not going to match it. So that's just, we're not actually going to pull that one, right? So then we're going to type in the command docker images. And we should see the IIS start image that we did. Okay, so that's the image right there. Note your image as well as the associated image ID. Which the ID is right there. Look, it's a little bit bigger. So here's their image ID. All right. And then the Docker. So then we're going to the next command is going to be Docker tag Microsoft /IIS as IIS, right? So we're going to just, I think this thing we're just changing the name to IIS instead of Microsoft /IIS. All right, and then now if I type in Docker images, 2 up arrows, you can see I've got IIS and Microsoft IIS are the same thing. And let's see if are the hashes the same? The hashes are the same, right? So the image IDs are the same. Fair enough. And Docker PS. There's no, so if we do that, so Docker PS is going to tell us if there's any, right, we don't have anything currently running, right? So then we want to run the image. So Docker run -- name IIS container 1 /P /d space IIS. Okay, so what should be running, right, is IIS. Execute the new container based on your web server container image. You automatically map support in the underlying operating system to port 80 in the container. Next, type Docker run. So Docker run / name, and then we're going to run this in IIS container number 2 --P --d -IIS, right? So we're running it a second time in the second container. All right. So that one's run. Then we're going to do it looks like again, and we're going to do container 3. So instead of retyping, I'm just going to type in container 3. I'm going to hit enter, and I've got it running 3 times. Okay, so 3 times, 3 instances running that same container on this computer, right? If I do docker ps again, then you can see I've got all 3 containers. I'm using the IIS image, and then they've got the 3 different pieces running. Okay. Note the 3 containers currently executing, container 1, container 2, and container 3. Also note the port numbers that were chosen. So let's take a look at that real fast. Port numbers, those 80s are right over here, but you can also see 50113, 50104, and 50098 are the individual port numbers for each of those containers. And then, right, good. What do we want to do? So we want to do IP address to port number 1. Okay, so open a web browser, and we're going to navigate to the IP address and port 1. And IP is going to be this first port number, not your port 80, I think. So we're going to try that. So let's make this big, and 50113. So the next thing I need to remember, I'm going to actually, I'm grabbing a pencil real quick. I'm going to write these port numbers down. So 50113, 50104, and 50098. Okay, and then my IP address, like what is my IP address? Since I'm on the machine, I'm just going to run ipconfig, and my machine address is 172.17.52.13. Right? And I'm curious if the zero's there, if that's what I need to use or not. So I'm gonna, we'll try this and see what happens. So I'm gonna leave this. I'm just gonna minimize that, or not minimize, just get out of the way, and then let's fire up. So I'm curious, right? So it was telling me, which I don't believe it will work, but I'm gonna do it anyway. 0.0.0.0 colon 50113. Okay, so that's giving me some errors. Bing wants to help me out with some problems, and I don't have problems. Let's try the IP address of the machine itself, which is 172.17.52.13, right? Colon 50113. All right, so it doesn't like that either. All right, so what are we doing? What am I doing wrong? So create that as big as, let me see if this gets any bigger. Right? So these are the containers. TCP port 80, that's my IP address. I could try the local address maybe, which shouldn't be any different than what I just did. 127.0.0.1 colon 50113. Right, so I'm hoping to get a web page up and running, but I'm not seeing that. So let's see if there's anything else I'm missing from the instructions. Okay, so Dybrik BS, so we got that, and also note the port numbers that were chosen for the containers. Right, got that. Indicate, okay, we got that. We're good. So open a browser, navigate to IP address colon port 1, where IP address is the IP address of your Windows server to the host, and port 1 is the number recorded. Right, so it's supposed to be the default web page, and that default web page is not there. Right, so there's something, got something else going on. So we're gonna stay there, and let me just grab a different server real quick and see if we can. I'm gonna log into this server. So I'm on, this is DM1. My machines are dropping like flies today, which is not normal for me. Oh, I powered off, did I? No, I didn't power off. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that's a subdomain. I don't want to mess with this one. I think I'm okay. This is DM1, so we should be... All right, so we're going to boot this up and see what happens here. And cancel that and fire up a... So we should, right, 172.17.52.13 colon 50113. Oh, come on. I always wait. I don't get it. I try to get done before it finishes its initial boot. All right, 50113. So I'm not getting squat from that, right? So that's annoying. I wonder, do I need, it doesn't tell me I need to do HTTP, does it? But I probably should. I wonder, let me try that. So now my concern is HTTP colon forward 172.17.52.13 colon 50113. Ah, okay, so now my problem is me just typing in things stupid, right? So, and it doesn't, the instructions don't help us with that, right? They don't give us that information. So let's try these other port numbers real fast. 50104, I'm looking for the same thing. And one last time, if we do 50098, all right? So yeah, so okay, that's working. So what we noticed here, right, these don't tell you to add the HTTP on the front of them, right? So open a web browser and you need to add that, right? Not just the IP address. Okay, so, and you can see that that worked. And I'm actually not on the server that's running that, right? So I'm on a different server, so it's working just fine. All right. Yeah, so that's good. So then let's take a look at this. So let's go back to my primary server, or the server that I've got Docker running on, and it wants me to do another command here. So docker exec / or -it. I'm assuming I got a space there. IIS container 3 cmd. What is this command doing? To obtain the interactive Windows command prompt for this container. Nice. Okay. So now we're in a command prompt for container 3. Okay, and it wants us to go to the inetpub / www root directory. Okay, and now we're in that folder, and we're going to do dir to see what we've got there. We've got the basic IIS start page, right? Great. From here, we're going to do PowerShell. So remember, we're on the container, right? We're in the container. We're not on the server that we're working on. We're actually working inside of the container. So we've got PowerShell there. Then we're going to do set, looks like set-content. To IIS start.htm. All right. Supply a value for the following parameters. So value 0, we're going to do, I don't think it'll let me copy. That's why I meant to type it in. So open prompt, HTML, close. Right, so close caret, right, or less than body, greater than, right, and then greater than H1. So heading 1, close that one, and then we're going to type in container 3 as our web page. Right? So web page. And then we need to close all that down, right? So then less than / H1, and then close, and then open, and body, and close. Oops, I need to do a / body. That closes the body, and then I need to do an open / we're going to close HTML. and then close that, right? That's what I think it's supposed to be. Press enter again to modify, to complete the modification. So at that point, if I give enter, it goes back to the basic root, okay? And then we're still in the PowerShell prompt. It wants me to get content, get-content, iis start.htm. And you can see what I typed in is there. Excellent. We're going to type exit here. And then, right, I'm going to come back over to here. I'm going to go back to, this is the container I just messed with, 50098. I'm going to hit enter again. Oh, maybe not. Oh, wait, do I do anything else? Maybe getting ahead of myself. In your web browser, refresh your page, right? So the new page should have been displayed, so I did something not quite right. So that one should have returned a new page, because I believe 5098, so if I go 50113, right, I get that page, and if I go 50104, I should get the same page, and then if I go 50098, I was hoping for that new page that I just set up, but I did something incorrect somewhere along the way, so let's go back and do this over. And it looks like I did what we were supposed to do, but apparently I didn't. So let's go and take a look. I did add, so the Windows PowerShell, right? So, which I'm at currently. Actually, I'm in, let me get rid of this command prompt here. Okay, so I'm on the SA1 server, and we want to fire up PowerShell, right, which we were at before. So I really want to just do this, right? So PowerShell admin, and type ipconfig. Why did I miss that? I don't understand what I did. So Docker, let's see what's going on. Exec /IT. I'm assuming, I don't think it's all one word. -IT container 3 cmd. So that should bring up the command prompt, right? And it's giving me the command prompt, so I'm okay there. That's fine. Type ipconfig. Oh, maybe this is what's going on. ipconfig. Look at that. It's got a completely different IP address. So 172.17.11.186. Is that right? That seems weird. Make this bigger. 17.11.186. Interesting. All right. Oh, so then, right, we want to do cd yeah, crazy. All right, so sorry, I got a different IP address. I'm wondering why that, well, it worked earlier without that different IP address, so I'm wondering what's going on there. So inet pub /www root, okay. And I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger so we can actually read it. I wish it would stop doing that, but it keeps doing that, so, okay. So we're in the right place. Right, so doing dir, so then there's a dir there, so iis start htm, I can't even read these things, they're so small now. All right. Oh, carry, right there. All right, so iis start htm, so depressed directory, got that. We've already done that, so they want us to do PowerShell, which we had done before. All right, and then set content iis start.htm. So we're setting the contents for that web page there. So I must have typed something wrong along the way here. So let's do this. So h1 close. Oh, no, HTML close. Right, and then open up body and close and open up H1. I wonder if I made that mistake earlier. I don't remember now. H1. We can always go back and watch and see if I did. Container 3 web page. And then I'm going to close H1. And I'm going to close the body. And I'm going to close HTML. And then nothing else for the next value. And then to see that value, to make sure that it's right, we're going to get content of is start.htm. And it should be what I typed in. So, right, I think that should be in good shape, right? So then enter exit, and then exit to exit the interactive mode. Oop. Exit again. All right, so we're back to the PowerShell prompt on the Windows machine. Then in your web browser, right, refresh this. And that's not giving me squat. That's super, super annoying. I'm wondering now, though, is this the issue? 117.17.11.186. All right, so we can't reset page, so that's not the issue. So 172.17.52.13 colon 509998. So this should have given me that page. So when it's not. So that's super annoying. Let's go back. I went back to the SA1, and I'm wondering if I do it from this machine, am I going to see something different? Okay, so 172.17.52.13 50113. So this should give me, yeah. So this is weird. Like I'm on the machine itself, and it's not giving me those web pages on this one. I wonder if I do 172.17.11.186 from here, colon 50098. So that's just going to give me the error problems. So I'm not able to see, or am I doing the same thing I did last time? I need to do HTTPs. One 172.17.52.13 colon 50098. All right. So I've got something wrong because it's not, this page should not be displaying. It should be the page that I reset earlier. So that's annoying, right? Super annoying. Right, because it says right here, if you get content into the web browser, refresh, and you should see the new web page should be displayed, and it's just not being displayed. So again, I'm on SA1, and I'm curious if I were to go, let's run PowerShell admin again, and let's do that. Let's switch over to that machine again. So Docker exec /IT container 3 cmd. Oops. That's IIS container 3 So it gave me the prompt. Great. ipconfig. That's just going to reconfirm that we have that funky address. cd /inet pub /web root www root. Man, all the crazy typing that you do. dir. So at this point, right, so I've changed that that IIS start. And we can see that if I were to do Notepad, oh, I won't run it because I'm not on the, which is why we're doing the get contents. All right, so then, so get content of IIS start.htm. Or do I need to be in PowerShell to do that one? Awesome. Good job, Carrie. So then get content IIS. So it's showing you there that I've got the content right. So I don't know why that's not showing. So let's do this. del IIS start.png. Okay, so that page, that little dealie's gone. So if I refresh this, so the picture should be gone. Really? So I'm wondering if I'm even in the right place now that I'm. So 50113 contain. Oh my gosh, no wonder. Okay, so if I go back over here, now that I'm thinking, let's think through this, right? So we can do a docker, I think the command was docker ps to show what's running. No? Oh, I'm in PowerShell. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, I'm in PowerShell. So let's exit. So then I'm back at the C prompt, and I can do docker ps. So this whole time I was fighting a problem that shouldn't have been a problem. And now I'm not getting my Docker stuff. Where am I at wrong here? Oh, I need to be in a PowerShell. So I'm in a command prompt. Let me go and just kill this stuff off real fast. I'm going to go to, I'm on the primary server. I'm going to run a PowerShell, and I'm going to do a docker ps to see what's running. And I should have paid attention here. Actually, I don't see it on here. So, oh, container 3, right? So here's container 3. So I don't think I can make this any bigger, right? But if yeah, I can. So if I walked across this, right, 50113 is container 3. So I was the whole time thinking container 1 should have been, right? But I was actually not looking at the right place. All right, so interesting. Okay, that's good. It's got that functioning. Let's see what else we got to do here to wrap up this lab. I know we've run, this is about an hour-long lab, so that's pretty a lot longer than we want. Okay, so I came in here and force restart. So we've done that, pulled that. We've done all those pieces. We've done the web browser, seen them all. We went in and changed the items and saw that we changed the item. Took a little troubleshooting to get there. We exited out of there. New page is found. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to do docker stop IIS container 3. So once that gets down, so that's down, so I should be able to come over here, and if I refresh, I should get an error now. Right? So you see it's waiting for, and it should fail on me. Right? So it can't reach the page because we killed it. Right? And then if we go back over here to SA1, Docker PS, right, we can see there's only 2 containers running, right? Right. If your web browser refreshes the web container error indicates the website cannot be reached. At the PowerShell prompt, PowerShell PA-A, so they're going to add a -A to the end of this to see that it exited, right? So we had that one running and it exited out a little while ago. All right. And then they want us to start the container. So I'm just going to go here, START, so Docker start IIS container 3, hit enter, and then we're going to go and see, you can see that they're all running, and if we come back to the main server over here and I hit enter, we should get my web page 3 to come back up. We're hoping. Come on, do it. Oh, let's give it a second. Oh, you know what though? This is interesting. Can't be reached. Let's go back over here because I'm thinking we have a new port number now. Container 3 is 51079. 51079. And voila, we have container 3. So we can take them up and down, but we lose those ports. So those specific ports are get changed each time. All right. So in your web browser, go there. So we've done that. Modify web pages plain at the Windows prompt. Docker stop container 1, 2, and 3. Right, that'll kill all of them. All right. So then let's go back over here. And we're going to do Docker stop IIS container 1 and IIS container 2 and IIS container 3. If I typed them all in correctly, properly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It looks like they're all done. And then we're going to do Docker container prune. And prune will remove all of your containers without removing the container image from which they were created. Right? So all the containers, the 1, 2, and 3 are going to go away, but the image, the base image will stay there. Right? So, and this one doesn't like what I just typed in. Oh, I didn't type in prune correctly. I typed in prime. So prune. All right, and then the yes. And then all 3 of those containers that we created are gone. All right, and that would be the end of it. Whew. That was a rough one. So it's about an hour long with errors and some uploading and downloading and things like that. I think we'll do this one again in class, but I wanted to record the video for you. So if you have any questions, obviously, you know, now that you've got this, you can see what we need to do to get through it. Let me know, and we'll go from there.